Can you hear the music?
Nice riff. Love it.
Fucking love this guy.
And you got some lead guitar in there. That's what music's missing nowadays.
Right here, coming up. Right there. Always gets me fired right there. Always like that little like pause there. It's always like, oh, Dick's got a hard on now, right? Like it's like as soon as you hit it, it's like boom, oh, I'm hard. Like take me there.
Dude, the music nowadays is missing that lead guitar, man. More lead guitar.
More cowbell.
More cowbell.
More cowbell. All right, man. Welcome back to another episode of On the Throne with Dick. And shout out to Senjin Boychuk, man. Like that guy is incredible. We've been talking to him since like episode 14 or something like that, where he had I asked him if he wanted to come on. He was referred to me by Angela, back road trucker Angela. And she was incredible, and she's like, hey, you need to have on. And then I watched this guy for like a couple weeks, and I'm like, man, I want to have him on, but like I want to see if I can also get him to like create like an intro outro music for me, right? And
nice,
more than willing, and in the future, I've been saying it for like a year now, but in like pretty soon, actually, I want to get lyrics added to it. Like I don't know what yet, but like I want to get lyrics added to it. So yeah, man. So shout out to Senjin Boychuk. You can find him everywhere on the socials, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. He's there. He's putting out the content and he's crushing it. He's a stellar individual. So and on today's show, we have special guest, Bobby. I was gonna say Bobby Brown, but Bobby Blue, aka Blue Collar Code, man. What's going on?
Not much, dude. Just chilling. I actually fought 2 hours of traffic to be here, man. To be here with you, and we keep missing each other like a motherfucker, man.
We do, man. But that's okay. Yeah. Okay, because like the show's not going anywhere, right? Like, hey, you down? Yeah, I'm down. And then like you had to cancel on me once or twice, and that's cool, man. You know what I mean? Like, it'll happen when it's meant to happen. You know what I mean? And here we are now. We're here. It's who the fuck cares?
Yeah. We're like the opposites. We're like the yin and yang kind of. You're like the great white north, and I'm like Phoenix burning hell.
You are in Phoenix, eh? Like you're in you in Mesa or where are you at?
I actually stay south. Where I live is south of Phoenix and Casa Grande. So I'm actually in between Phoenix and Tucson. There's a big vast desert between Phoenix and Tucson, and I'm smack dab in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's badass.
But my office is based in they call Phoenix the Valley. It's got all these little towns surrounding it. But yeah, the Phoenix Valley.
The Phoenix Valley, man. Were you a Phoenix Coyote fan? Were you all about the Coyotes? Were you sad when they left? Do you even know who the Phoenix Coyotes are?
It's like a hockey team. I seen them. I went to a hockey game one time. I know you guys are big about hockey up there.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big diehard Maple Leaf fan. You probably don't even know what the Maple Leafs are. You probably don't even care. You're just probably like, what? Like, let me tell you, if you don't know anything about hockey, Maple Leafs, best team in the sport, man. They won all the championships ever. And
let me ask you, hold on. Is that the Blue Leaf? The Blue Leaf
yeah, they're
team?
blue. Yeah.
Okay, so the one Coyote game that I went to, they played them.
Oh, shit.
I think they won.
The
Coyotes won. No, the Coyotes won.
Of course.
He said, oh.
Of course. How long ago was that?
Man, that was, I'm going to say 6 to 8 years ago. It was a while. It was a while ago.
Might have had Shane Doan on the team still, man. I don't know how long ago he retired, man. It's been a while. Yeah.
But I'll play sports like a motherfucker. But as far as sit there and watch it, I'd much rather go out and do it myself than watch it.
You sent me a picture of what you were stuck in traffic. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Man, look at that.
Dude, it was almost worth the wait.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course, man. Like, hey, you can't park there. excuse me, you can't park there, right?
I
Like,
was telling myself the whole time, I'm like, when I get up there, I'm gonna scream at these assholes. But then I seen that and I was like, oh man, it's too
someone
good.
have a bad day already, you know, like hey,
Yeah.
hey, I hope everyone's okay. Was everyone okay? You didn't see no blood splatter anywhere? And
No, I didn't. No, I didn't see any like ambulances flying by or anything like that. I mean, it was it. People
okay.
drive like animals out here, man, and I'm one of them. But lots of tailgating. So I mean, you slam on the brakes and it's like at least 5 cars pile up.
Yeah, I'm from Alberta, man. So like, in northern Canada, so we drive like assholes. And recently, I don't know if I didn't even post it on Instagram, so you probably didn't even see it, man. I'll show you. But I was driving on the highway to get to where I am right now in Grand Prairie, Alberta. And you don't know where that is, but so my truck starts shaking like a motherfucker, right? And I'm like, man, that's weird. And I'm like sitting there and I'm feeling it. I'm like, am I losing a tire? Right. So I slow down, I get over, and I get over, and as soon as I hit the shoulder, poof, my tire goes flying all the way
Oh
over.
man,
All the way. 500 meters she bounced and rolled. And it was down a grid road. And this farmer, he stopped and he picked it up. I'm glad he did because it was pouring rain, and I wanted no part of that. So yeah, he brought it back to me. Look at this, man. Look at that.
epic,
The tire, like look at that.
dude. How did it come off?
Sheared the wheel lugs right off, dude. Sheared them
Really?
right off clean. Don't even know how it happened. But like I
I'm
told
not
my
gonna
boss,
talk shit about Ford, but because I like my Fords, but
hey man, I made a joke on Snapchat actually. I called my boss, and the truck's actually ready. It's only been 3 days and it's fixed, done, complete with tow and fixing and everything else. $600, $680,
nice,
something like that. It was not
nice,
bad. So
blue
like,
collar.
yeah. So um, I called my boss. My boss gave me the number for like our head mechanic, and in back in the city at the shop there. And he's like, "Okay, well, where are you?" I Google Mapped where I was. 4 minutes from a fountain tire. Four
Nice.
minutes, right? Like couldn't happen in a better spot. But that's why it was cheap too, right? It wasn't too crazy expensive to tow. So yeah, 4 minutes away, and then
That
so
that's so like opposite of what I think of Canada. I think of Canada like you get a flat tire or something. You're like out in the middle of the woods and the mountains.
sometimes, man. Sometimes you don't even have cell service when it happens. So like
Oh man,
you're. I got a story about that. So I call him and I'm like, man, it's taken care of, yada yada yada. And then he's like, do you need someone to come pick you up? You know, like everyone else was 2 hours north of me. He's like, do you need me to come there? And like, I can send someone. I gotta send someone now. And I'm like, give me a minute here, right? Like, there's a couple of our coworkers that hadn't quite made the journey yet, like me. I stopped and I dilly daddled. I was on a side quest, anyways. But like 2 seconds later, this camper pulls up out in front of me. It's our on site mechanic,
nice.
right? And he looks at the tire. He's like, I can't help you. He's Russian. He's like, I can't help you there. I'm sorry. In Soviet Russia, like, and so I call my boss back. I'm like, I got a ride. Alex showed up out of all people. He showed up, and I'm good, right? He tows his service van behind him in the camper, and his dad drives the camper, and sometimes he drives the service van. But so the two Russians, his dad's former KGB,
No
right?
shit.
Oh, dude, built like a brick shit house in his 70s, man. He's badass, dude. Like he pretends like he don't know English, but the dude knows English, right? Like I talk to him all the time. Anyway, so we got all my shit in his camper van, and then I'm on Snapchat and I posted a picture of the truck and then and the tire, and then the next thing is of me, and I'm like, Ford, let someone else drive you. And I flipped it around, right? Right? Oh, dude, it was incredible, man. It was I was only there 20 minutes. He was 20 minutes behind me. I sat there for 20 minutes and I like like what the fuck is happening right now, right? Like, but like everyone's like, man, that must have been scary because people saw that and they're like, oh shit, that must be scary. I'm like, honestly, man, it wasn't. You know, like from I felt something was wrong. I slowed down, pulled over, and as soon as I pulled over, it scraped the road. Like the road
Wow.
dug right in and scraped. But as soon as it did that, I'm like, oh yeah, there's my tire, right? And
Man, I'd much rather it be the back axle than the front.
yeah, well, yeah, and the mechanic told me, he's like, man, if you had just kept driving, like kept your speed and kept going, and didn't, as soon as you hit the ditch, the shoulder, the slope pulled it off. So if you had just kept going at that same speed, you would have made it to Fountain Tire, and like but I was getting out to see what was wrong. Right, I was pulling over to see what was wrong, so I didn't know. Right,
Yeah.
and yeah, man, it wasn't that scary at all. It was like, oh my god, that's scary. I'm like, no, man. Honestly, it happened so fast and so quick, and I figured something was wrong anyways. So and I'd never lost the tire yet before ever while driving. Knock on wood that it doesn't happen again. But like, so I'd never lost the tire before. So I was like, that now I know what it's like. Right now I know. Oh shit, that like the fat on
Yeah.
my arm was just jiggling, right? And like a fat guy at McDonald's, right? And I was just like, shit. Well, like, I know now that's experience that's up here, right? And it's like, okay, what I experienced was my tire coming off.
Man, you mentioned Russians and gave me flashbacks because I used to work in I used to be a diesel mechanic slash trailer mechanic, and I
Yep.
worked with these Russian guys, and this one Russian guy, his name was Neil, but it was spelt nail, Nail. And this guy would take me out because I would work on his truck on the side and stuff. And he would take me out. It don't matter where we were at, but this guy would drink Canadian whiskey. And I don't know what he'd say in Russian, but it was like religion for him. He would say something in Russian. He'd go like this, and freaking down like a bottle like that. They can drink, man. They can drink over there.
Dude, come to Canada. We got this. We'll fuck them Russians right up, man. Like you Americans, like come over here to drink our beer because yours is just water, right?
Oh,
So
wait. Hold on now.
hold
Hey,
on.
that's good. That's good. We should go. You should shoot me some American stereotypes, and I'll shoot you some Canadian
Oh
stereotypes.
yeah, for sure, man. I'll be like, I gotta get some guns though, right? I gotta get some guns up there, right? I gotta go. I can't even say what I want to say, bro. Like I gotta get some guns. Is all I'm saying. Get
I'll
some
tell
guns.
you how much I love guns. I carry mine at work everywhere
so
I go.
so guns. I gotta get some guns. I gotta get some hot dogs. I gotta pretend to like baseball. I gotta gain like 90 pounds. Um, I gotta pretend like I can't read. Right? I gotta pretend like and then I gotta pretend like hey, I live in like Boston. I'm from Boston, and like it's like where the fuck is New York City, right? Because like you guys don't know shit about your own country, right? Like you guys are just like, which way is which way, like Washington State. You probably think that's Washington D.C., don't you?
Hey, well, how fast were you driving when your tire fell off? Like 30 miles an
I
hour?
don't deal I don't deal in freedom units, okay? Like, we deal in the right measurements of here. I was driving 130 kilometers per hour, which is roughly 70 miles per hour. No, 70 miles per hour is like 160 clicks. So, I don't know. It was up
Dude,
there.
I'm 44 and I still don't know the kilometer miles per hour formula.
It was 20 degrees outside. You're probably like, "Oh, that's cold."
Yeah.
It's 20 degrees Celsius, man.
Hey, I do know that formula because I'm an HVAC guy.
You do. You are an H. Yeah. So we're gonna get into that. But like, are those two savage glasses on your head right now?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Safeties
Why
too.
are you doing that? Why are you doing that?
I, I literally just got home, bro.
Did,
You're all showered, fresh as a daisy.
did they? Yeah. Well, yeah. I took a shit. I had to shower, right? I'm out of toilet paper, so I had to get you know. So, but like, did they reach out to you? Are they like, "Hey, legend, what's up, brother?" Like,
No. I actually, I, scrolling through Instagram and I seen an ad for them, and I was like, I really like those. You know,
Gross.
because it's like the fashion right now to have these big old gaudy, you know.
Wow, buddy. Like,
Yeah, what are
these
yours? Venoms?
no, these are heat waves, man. Hey,
Heat waves.
hey, listen, I'm gonna do a shameless plug right now, okay? Whenever you order any heat waves off the heat wave store, you use my code, which is wow, Frost 8910, and you save yourself 10%, right? Like,
Hey.
look at these, man, and like they're blue and they come in many other different colors. Look at this, and they're interchangeable too, right? Like I could take the arms off these and I could put them on my nighttime heat wave.
Really?
These are my nighttime shades, right? Like,
Nice.
oh, dude, I've got like 10 pairs of these things, dude. And I saw your 2 Savage glasses and I almost puked in my mouth a little bit.
Well, I'm not gonna talk shit, but they scratch so freaking easy, man.
Those ones?
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
You probably can't see it, but maybe I'm just being picky. But they're safeties, you know.
Hey, man,
Scratch them.
hey,
They're fairly good price, so
your eyeballs aren't scratching. That's all that matters, right?
that's right. That's right. But even though they're the chrome, I could still see clear as day inside the building. So you'll see me in my videos where I'm wearing this shit inside, and it's
Yep.
because they're not really tinted, but they work outside too. So
Yep. So you said you're an HVAC guy, hey?
yes.
Nice. Like, how long you been doing that for?
Oh man, since I graduated tech school in 2000, that's when I officially had my certification and stuff like that. But I dabbled with it a little bit prior to going to school, but I didn't know what the frick I was doing.
So hold on. Talk about
Yeah,
America's.
I'll tell you what, I didn't know the difference between antifreeze and Freon.
Well, I don't think you can drink either of those.
No.
Um, yeah. So you're American. Let me do an American stereotype. You've been doing it since 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Your career predates the War on Terror.
Yes.
Holy shit, bro! Like
Yeah.
you had your job before, like, there was an inside job in New York. You know what I mean? Like, fucking good for you.
When you could freaking get on a plane and still smuggle stuff on a plane.
Yeah, man.
I
Like,
wouldn't try it nowadays.
You know what I don't get, man? You're not allowed to take tweezers on an airplane, and that blows my mind. Because if you can hijack an airplane with tweezers, you deserve the whole damn airline, right? Like,
I'll tell you what, though, you can take a little bottle of hairspray and you could take a cigarette lighter. Tell me
hey,
how that works.
we're about to watch House of Dragon up in this airplane.
I hope the FAA ain't watching.
Well, they are now. Hey, this ain't the first time the podcast has been put on a watch list. So, I mean, we're here now.
Dude, I am no angel. My whole life, I have attracted cops and authority. They got a radar out for my ass.
The mustache, the backwards cap, and the mullet says you're an angel, and the cops don't look for you at all.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Hey,
Is that what it is, really?
Yeah, absolutely. So you do the HVAC thing, man, and like when I first started, when I first started talking to you, but when we were talking last week, you were like babysitting a building or some shit all night, and you were the only one there.
Yeah. So, it's big 29-story building, and it has a big condenser loop, which all the air conditioners tie into this condenser loop. And I mean, the biggest part of the condenser loop is maybe the pipe is 10 to 12 inches. And then the smallest is half inch.
Like a micro.
What's that?
Like a micro penis.
Half inch? I say micro penis is maybe smaller than that.
Have you ever seen one?
No, bro.
Every time I look down. Every time I look down. You ever seen one? Yeah, every time. Bro.
Oh, bro.
Oh my God. Yeah, no. Dude, why I bring that up so often now is because I accidentally watched a video with a guy jerking at a micro penis. And dude, it was like he was like trying to start a fire with his fingers, man. He was just like, right? Like,
oh my God.
And it was aggressive though. It was like can't even move my fingers that fast. This is like how crazy it was, right?
If he moves it too fast, it'll just be like poof.
Yeah, yeah, dude, God, bro, it was. I was blown away how this guy he's got to be single, right? Like, there's no way.
We went from a 30-story to a fucking micro penis. That's fucking
Yeah,
great.
yeah, back to your 30-story building.
So this is a tragic story. So I jumped on the project like 2/3 of the way from being completed. Got dumped in my lap because the superintendent who was running it hightailed and left, and there was nobody at our company that had the knowledge. So I took on the job, and so for the beginning of the 2/3 of the project, I was away from it. Even though I worked at the company, I didn't know what was going on out there. It's just probably my bad. Should have been doing more quality control out there, but they just hacked it, man. Did a horrible job on some of their solder joints. And anyway, one Saturday, I'm feeling good. Got my whole day planned out. I got my speech in my head that I'm going to give to my guys during our stretch and flex and our huddle. And I'm literally whistling the Andy Griffith tune, walking up to the job site. And I open the stairwell door, and it's like a waterfall on the first floor. And my heart sank, man, because I knew it's like either us, the plumber, or the sprinkler guy.
Blame the
And if
sprinklers.
it's,
Fuck them.
I thought about when I found the leak, I thought about just cutting a plumbing line and be like, oh, it's the plumbers.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Well, anyway, my heart sank. Even if it was those guys, I still would have done what I did. But I dropped my tools. I ran up all the stairs. I mean, it was like the leak was on the 13th floor. Imagine that, on the 13th floor.
Oh,
But running up the stairs, it was like running through 13 waterfalls. And luckily it was wet, hiding my tears, because I was really beating myself up as I was running up those stairs.
beating yourself off as you ran up the stairs? What?
No, listen, micro penis. Well, anyway, I get to the 13th floor, and I'm one of the first people on site. So I knew the elevators weren't working. That's literally where I was running up the stairs. Well, I get to the 13th floor. I'm running down the hallway, and there's just this apartment where all the water's just like flooding out of the apartment, and it's locked. I'm like, shit. Well, there's nothing I can do right there anyway. I had to go up to the roof, which is 29 stories. So I start running down the hallway, and I run into these two Mexican electricians, and I'm like, I thought they took the elevator up. So I scream at them. I'm like, get me to the roof now. And they start speaking to me in Spanish. And I was like, fuck. So they didn't speak a lick of English. So I ran up the stairs all the way to the 29th story or 29th floor, isolated the water, and literally fell to my knees because I was that adrenaline, bro. The adrenaline and the exhaustion from running up those stairs like zapped me. I sat there on my knees for a minute, and I was like, all right, get the work on. Anyway, because of that leak, it flooded like 7 floors. And this is a multi-family housing high rise. So I mean, like, each floor's got 20 something apartments on it. Flooded them all. And I was so beat up on it that I went through every solder joint in that whole entire building just so I could sleep at night. And I wanted to give assurance to the client and the GC that we did our due diligence and our quality, and we made sure we went through everything and fixed what we seen. And I ended up fixing like 50 joints.
Nice.
50 joints. But anyway, once it was all said and done, the GC's like, great, thanks for doing that. Now we need somebody to babysit. Since the line blew while nobody was there, I'm figuring it probably blew 2 to 3 hours before I got there at like 4:30 in the morning, based on the amount of water and the damage. But man, I was fighting that staying 24 hours. They made me jump through hoops, and I jumped through all the hoops. I did our quality. And at the end of it all, they're like, we still need somebody here 24 hours for at least a week.
Yeah.
So I had to babysit that building, walk every floor, every room to make sure we didn't have water leaks. So I would do that. I would walk, like, it would take me 2 to 3 hours to walk the whole entire building. And then I would chill for a little bit, watch some YouTube or something, or make some repairs while I'm there, and or not repairs, but do some work while I was there, and then screw off the rest of the time.
You could have made some videos, man.
Oh, dude, I did. Actually, I got in trouble with some of them. Around here in Phoenix, downtown. They got those scooters that you could pay for.
Oh, like Lime scooters. We got that
Yeah.
from in Edmonton, man. We got Lime scooters. I love those things. $20 for like an hour.
Oh, dude, I ran it up to 45. But that scooter video got me in trouble. I left skid marks in the parking garage.
Oh no, not the parking
Yeah.
garage.
They're like, what if you would have fell and hurt yourself? I'm like, I had all my PPE on. You could see it in the video.
Yeah, that's so. How did you get into making videos anyway? You're just like one day, because like, you're an older guy, right? You've got to be in your 50s, right?
I'm 44.
45. Oof, I fucked up there, didn't I?
Bro, people tell me I look younger, man. Come on.
Well, like I just assume because your career predates the War on Terror, right? So like the War on Terror, hey, you were there for the whole like George Bush does not like black people thing, right? And like so and whatnot. So I was just assuming, like a lot of people like in that age group, they don't really make videos. They think that's beneath them, right? And
right.
so like it's only gotten popular in the last couple of years for us blue collar guys, right? Where you're 44.
Dude, we're in right now. We are in style right now.
We are in style, man. Who knew?
Oh yeah.
Who knew, man? And it's sort of like a resume. I've said it a couple times on the podcast now, man. Like this is like sort of a resume, right? Like, hey, look what I do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
If you need proof, hey, look what I do. Everyone knows who Dave Frost is. And I also, everyone probably in the Phoenix area knows who Bobby is, right? Like blue collar.
Yeah. I get people that call me out sometimes. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah,
I don't know how to react.
yeah, man. So they're just like, oh fuck, I've seen this guy's videos. He's doing the work, right? This is like a resume, right? But yeah, we're fucking in, man. It's
yes, sir.
wild. It's wild.
Yes, sir. Well, I'll tell you how I got into it. So I've always had Facebook. I thought Instagram was like a joke. It was just like Facebook #2. And then I got TikTok, and I really liked how TikTok was structured versus Facebook. So I became a manager in 2018. And right away, I started feeling the pain of not being able to find good people. So I started using Facebook to throw out, help wanted ads. And actually, I still work with a couple employees that I found on Facebook, so many years ago. And then after COVID, the workforce just completely changed. Couldn't find good people anywhere. And then I started seeing these reports, like all these, blue collar workers leaving the industry. And then that led into research on, there's so many retiring and not enough to come in and fill that coffer. So I wanted to, I was thinking of ways I could get, the younger generation excited about, joining the industry. And I'm like, social media, man, I can find people to hire on social media. Why don't I start doing videos to promote the business? And then that never took off. I just started doing videos to basically promote myself or to have fun with it.
Yeah.
So the whole reason of me doing it is to get people excited about joining a trade or a blue collar job, because it is fun. It's not a grind. It's a grind if you think it's going to be a grind. It's fun if you think it's going to be fun. So I have a good time. I see myself like the ancient Egyptians building the pyramid, man.
Hell yeah.
I'm making that freaking landmark, and I'm building the skyline of Phoenix. I'm proud of that shit.
Fuck yeah, man.
So
That's sick. You know, that that
yeah,
is that is something to be proud of, you know what I mean? And like I work on the in the winter, I work on the rigs. I work in the oil patch, right? I work on a vac truck and we service the oil rigs and stuff like that. And it's a lot of fun. And then um in the summer, I leave that because I've been doing that for 12 years now, right? And like it's mentally it's a grind, right? Mentally it's a grind. And like I in the summer I go and I build roads for the summer, right? I go and on a road crew and operate equipment and I do whatever else they want me to do. And it's just a change up, right? And
yeah,
with the oil and gas, it's very up and down and feast and famine. So it started because the downturn in 2014 or whatever it was, I started working here. And now I come back, right? Because I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket over there. I'm staying versatile all over the place, right? My boss calls me like a utility knife, right? And I love that. Yeah, and yeah, dude, I really enjoy that, and in the oil and gas side of things, I have gotten a lot of messages and a lot of DMs and people commenting on the videos saying, "Hey, where can I get a job? How do I get into oil and gas?" Right? And that's so fucking cool, man. Because
that's fucking awesome.
we're in a labor shortage too, right? And it's hard
Yep.
to find workers. So a lot of people are turning to social media to find that, right? And most of the time I send an email address along to, hey, here, email your resume here. Or sometimes I'll post help wanted posters on my socials. My boss actually asked me to stop doing that last year. He's like, man, you got like 250,000 people across your social media platforms. Stop that. We're getting we're getting applications from a lot of people and a lot of people that aren't qualified, right? And
Right.
don't have any experience or that we have operators, right? Like class 1, class 3, they drive semis, big trucks, right? And a lot of people can't do that, right?
Right.
So yeah, he's like, hey man, take it down. And then there was a couple of times there where he's like, hey man, put it back up, like just put it back up, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
um
No,
yeah.
that's fucking great, dude. That's fucking great. I do have a couple people reaching out to me a week,
Yeah.
asking me how to join a trade. So, and actually, my videos, I've they're a lot of fun. I'm goofing off in them
Yeah.
mostly. But I am going to start pushing out more content on like how to get to the trades. How to survive once you're in the trades, and it's not all about hard skills. There's a lot of it is soft skills. The stronger you are with your soft skills, the better your chances. When you
100%.
can look at a dude and see that he's fucking pissed off and recognize that he's pissed off and say, I'm not gonna fuck with that dude. That's a soft skill. And you will survive that day because you're not talking to that dude. He's pissed off. You're leaving him alone. You're giving him his space. You need those soft skills too.
See, I've been in construction, blue collar, whatever, for since I was 11, right? My
Wow.
dad my dad took me to work with him. My dad owned his own construction company. He did metal roofing and whatever else. And he he took me to work with him when I was 11. He's like, "Hey, there ain't no more summer vacations for you, right? Because in the real world there isn't summer vacation, right?" So he took me to work with him. He taught me the value of the dollar and what it takes to earn it, and he put me to work. And a lot of the guys didn't trust me because I was the boss's son. I had to earn that respect. Right? Yeah, I had to earn that respect, and I would shit talk my dad with the rest of them, right? I'd be like, "Fuck that guy," right? Like I was 11 years old, and he paid me at the start for 11 years old, 11 to about 13, 14. He paid me $50 a day, right? It was during
Nice.
summer vacation, and
That's a lot of money when you're 11, dude.
fuck yeah. And he taught me the tricks of the trade and whatnot. And you learn a lot. You learn a lot about hey, what you just said. That guy's mad today. Stay the fuck away. Learn some people
Mm-hmm.
skills. Learn how to read the room, right? And then he tried to pay me an hourly wage, and then he started giving me performance bonuses, right? He's like, hey, the first time he ever offered it to me, I ran with it, right? I'm like, fuck yeah. He's like, I'll give you $100 extra cash at the end of the day if you could put this roof on and there's not a single issue with it. And it's metal roofing, right? So I'm like, all right, challenge accepted. 10 squares a day for me was like, that was insane. But I did it, right? I fucking put it on. My dad calls me down at the end of the day. He's like, look up. I look up and he's like, how many of those do you think are unlocked? I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, I can count a bunch. Like, good job. You did really good, but you didn't hit your goal, right? He's like, now not only do you not get your $100, now you got to go up there and rip all that off to fix a couple. I'm like, son of a bitch, right? And
Yep.
next time he made that deal with me, I made sure everything was good. I dotted my I's and crossed my T's, right?
That's how you learn, man. That's how
That's
you
how you
learn.
learn, man. And my dad's not a good man. My dad's not a good person, but I'm grateful for, the life lessons he did teach me on the job side, right? Now, having said that, like I see when people are having a bad day and I cross that fucking line, right? Because I've been in construction now for 20 some odd years, right? So like I don't give a fuck, right? Because like I'm that guy too sometimes, man. I'm miserable too sometimes. I want to be left alone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get left alone, right? Like especially by the older guys, they know, right? They know, right? And yeah, I will leave people alone when it's necessary. But hey, if you're just being a grumpy prick for no reason, you could be having a bad day. You never
Poke,
know what's
poke,
going on.
poke.
Sometimes, man, I just poke. The older I get, not so much. When I was younger, man, in my 20s, yeah, I would poke and prod, right? And now
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
hey, like I appreciate you. You know what? Like you don't know who's going through what, right? You don't know if
Right, right.
buddy's getting divorced or in the middle of one, or like or his daughter's fucking not talking to him or some shit like that, or
Damn, dude, there's so much wisdom behind what you just said there, man. You
you
don't know what somebody's going through.
You don't know, man. You don't
Mm.
know if dude's hearing voices in his head and is telling him to shoot the whole job site up right now, right? You don't know. And that's a fact. You know what I mean? Like,
Come
mental
try
health.
that in Arizona.
Yeah, dude, in Canada, we'll just throw
That'd be
fucking leaves at you, right? Like donuts, Tim Horton donuts. I'm gonna throw this really hot coffee on you. You don't leave me alone, right? Um, yeah, man. Like mental health, dude. Mental health in blue collar is so huge. It's our
yeah,
lifestyle, right? Like we work long hours. We work away. I work up 4 to 5 weeks away from my family at a time, right? I have to stay
that's got to be
positive.
tough. That's
Oh,
got to be tough.
yeah, I have to stay positive and joke around and have a good time just to make it through a fucking day. You know what I mean? Like that's why
Right.
the TikToks. That's why I make TikToks and Instagrams and I have a podcast. It's my outlet, right? It's when I'm having a rough day, I can look at something that's funny. I can create something that's funny and make myself
Right.
laugh. You know what I mean? And dude, 4 years ago I was in a rough spot, and that's when I started TikTok. Right? I needed it.
Hmm. No, it's a release for it's. I don't want to say a release. It's an escape for a lot
Yeah,
of people.
yeah.
So
Yeah, dude, and maybe it became more of an escape than it should have become for me, right? Like, I did immerse myself in it, right? And I did. It did. You know, I've taken a step back this summer. I've taken a little bit of a step back, like I'm not posting as much as I was, and I'm still recording the podcast, but like I'm not posting as much as I was, and I'm not even sorry about it. Like I'm having a good time. I'm relaxed. I'm mentally, I've talked about it a couple times over the last couple weeks. Mentally, man, I'm more focused up here than I've been in years, man. And like,
oh,
like
that's good.
yeah, and I find, and I say this a lot too, I find the further down social media I go, the less social I become.
Right, right, right.
And the
Dude,
reason,
it's.
yeah,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No.
It's what?
Oh, we're so nice. I'm
Ah,
like
no,
Canadian now. We're like, no, you go, you go.
you.
No, I was just gonna say it's extremely. I didn't think so at first, but it consumes a lot of your time
Oh, yeah.
to create a video, record it, edit it, put it out. It's hard to split your focus between work and then social media or being a creator, basically. Because
Yeah,
I go on social media and I'm on there for maybe 15 minutes, but then the majority of the time I'm on social media, I'm editing a video or
yeah,
something like that. And that's a real hard balance
yeah,
between,
man.
your
Well,
professional career and your creator career.
you had to think about it, right? Like I work 100 hours or more a week, right? And then I'm away from home. So like, I gotta be a husband while I'm on the road still. I gotta be a dad while I'm on the road still, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we had that problem like a few years ago where it's like my wife's like, just because you're not here, you still have to be here, right? You might not be physically here, but you still have to be my husband when you're on the road, right? Like, and that is something as simple as maybe a little bit of dirty talk, right? You know what I mean? Like, just for real, man. Like,
You're
and now
like,
Get that micro penis out, babe. And no, for real though, man. Like it's like, yeah, she was not right. She was not wrong, right? And I needed that, because I was a shell of a human being when I was so during the pandemic at the beginning, I was gone for 6 months at a time. I couldn't go home, couldn't get home, right? And so it was like
Wow.
6 months at a time, and like the smallest thing would set me off, right? I'd drop something on the ground and I'd be like, "You son of a bitch," right? And I just start like I lose it, right? And then my wife was 2 hours ahead of me, right? So how often did we get to talk? You know what I mean? I was
Wow.
working, on call 24/7. So like when it was midnight my time and I'm working, it's 2 in the morning her time. She's sleeping, and then by the time I get back and go to bed, she's just waking up, and we never really got to talk. And that was really hard on our relationship, right? And I remember we had this conversation. She kept sending me pictures of like, her and the kids and my sister and just our family hanging out and like going out to like amusement parks and stuff like that. And I'd send her pictures of me just covered in the day, in the middle of the night in -40. Right. And she's like, one day she said to me, and I had to take this I take it differently now, and I remember her saying like, "Oh, I feel like you're leaving me behind." And I got
Mm.
mad. I'm like, "I'm sending you pictures of me at work covered in shit at 2 in the morning when it's -40, and you're sending me pictures of you having fun. Who's leaving who behind?" Right? And
Mm.
like I shouldn't have snapped like that, but like, it came off, I didn't want to hear that because, in my mind, I was grinding for my family. I was grinding out here doing it all for my family, and what my family needed was me there more, right? And that was tough, man. That was tough. And coming out of that and us having some seriously hard conversations about it, it was like, yeah, I sent you pictures of, what we're doing, but that was so you could feel included in what we're doing, and like and she, yeah, I see it from both sides, still more so hers now, but like, you know, um it was tough. It was really tough to get
Yeah.
through that time in my life, man. And what helped was creating content, right? It was like I need to do something. I need to do something other than work, right? And you do a lot of that while you're working, right? So like, but like it's over 100 hours a week, being a father and a husband, um, creating content. Where do I sleep? I go live on TikTok every night for a bit. I haven't in a long time now. In a little bit, I will get back to it, but like I'm just taking a break, right? But you go live on TikTok and you dump 2 to 3 hours of that in the night, and then that time that you were using for sleeping is quickly chewed away, right? Like then it's like shit, where's time for sleep in there? And then you start getting irritated because it's a lack of sleep.
Yep.
It's everything combining up on itself. And yeah, man, oh fuck, dude, it's everybody thinks, and I say this a lot. Everybody thinks blue collar is tough. You got to be tough, right? This kind of
Oh,
tough, right? Is
yep.
all in here, man. All in there.
Resilience, the mental strength. It's but man, you hit on a good point. You know, it's your wife, right?
Yeah.
God bless her, dude. God bless her. Because it's tough. As tough as we think our job is, being the partner of a blue collar is twice as hard.
Oh yeah.
Because look at she's got to deal with you being gone all the time. I mean, that's a crazy dynamic that I don't have to deal with. I get to come home every night. I just that's tough, man. You know.
Yeah. We were talking about it today, man. Um, One day I was 17 years old thinking about someday, right? And I blinked 10 years, 20 years. Fuck, we're 2 years, we're a year and a half away from that being 20 years ago, right? Like one day I blink and 20 years has flown by and all I've done is work, right? Work and have fun. We've had a lot of fun, right? But like, where's the time going, man? Like
Yeah.
fucking 20 years. How fast is the next 20 years gonna go, right? And in 20 more years, I'm pushing 60, and you're like three-quarters of the way dead, right? Like,
Well, that's the problem with or not the problem, but that's how Gen Z's viewing it. That's why they're not joining. Why am I going to waste my time doing that, or why am I going to waste my life doing that?
yeah,
And in my head, work in life are this freaking same thing. You know,
Yeah,
you can either you can separate them if you want, but just as much fun as I have, you know, going out in my Jeep through the
yeah.
desert and stuff, I have just as much fun hanging with my guys at work and, you know, bullshitting with them and building buildings and, you
Took me
know,
a while
building
to get
stuff that I could be proud of.
took me a while to get back to that, you know, like because for a while there, like, you know, I was in my head mentally, right? And I was just like, fuck, what am I doing? Right. And then, you know, everyone's like, man, you're always so chipper and happy. That's because I've seen myself when, you know, I'm not in a great mood and I don't want to be here when I am. And I wear that and everyone else can feel it. And I don't want to be the morale killer. Right. So, like, you know, I joke around and I keep it light and, you know, I'm fun to work with because I know what we're all going through, right? Like you're not going to tell me. You won't tell me what's going on at home or in your personal life, but I've been through it. I've been there. Especially the younger guys. I've been there, man. Like you don't have to tell me what you're going through. I've been there and probably have the similar experiences. You could be having it worse. Who knows, right? But I know what you're going through, right? And so I keep it lighthearted and fun to be at work, right? Because I don't, you know, you don't want to bring your bullshit to work, right? You just don't. And what you said, you have just as much fun, man. I'm right there again, man. I'm back to having fun at
Yeah.
work. You know, like just
It's the mindset. It's the
yeah,
mindset.
yeah,
If
man. And
you, like I said, if you think work is a grind, it's gonna be a grind.
if you're having a
You
bad
know.
day, like is the case of the Mondays, right? If you or everyone, you know, at the new year, right? They make their posts. Oh, well, 2024 wasn't a great year for me. It was shit. Your year is a direct reflection of how you lived it, right? Like
Yeah.
do some great with your year and your year won't be shit. If you think 2024 was shit, 2025 ain't going to be any better for you either, right? Like it's just change your mindset a little bit and have a good
Look at
time.
us. We're like the two old wise guys on the job now.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, the gray in the beard too, man. Like oh man, I'm loving it. I'm loving the grays. Everyone's like, oh look, in the winter I'm not allowed to have a beard, right? I have in the oil patch I'm not allowed to have a beard. So like in the summertime, I take full advantage of being able to grow this beard. I'm allowed to have a stash. I keep the stash in the winter, right? I'm just like,
Nice, nice. I want to see that. I want to see that.
oh man, yeah, dude. It's in older videos, right? Like not too far back because I haven't really posted much this summer. So like they're not that far back, but yeah, man, like what you were saying about you know, Gen Z not wanting to be, you know, not wanting to get a part of that life. I don't know if you know who Grayson Magaha is, but he's in North Carolina and he makes a lot of blue collar content. And he was on the podcast and he said it best. He's like, man, our parents taught us if you come to work, you put your nose to the grind and you get her fucking done. The company's gonna take care of you, right? And maybe if you were a boomer or a Gen Z or Gen Xer,
Gen
yeah, Gen
X.
Xer, right? But the millennials, right? We're growing up in unprecedented times, right? We're like, you know, we're there. We did that. We showed up. We put our nose to the ground and we grinded it out. And the company does not give a fuck about us, right? Like we're fucking breaking our backs for them, and they don't care, right?
Yeah.
And there's no sense of loyalty. They're not going to take care of you. And you got Gen Z coming up right behind us, watching us go through this struggle, and they're like, nope, fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that. You know, like a lot of companies are like, oh, where's the sense of loyalty? You're right. Where is the sense of loyalty? Why aren't you given a 2 week notice when you leave? Are you going to give me a 2 week notice when you fire me? Right? Like, I don't think so, bro. You know, so I used to be up until last year. I was that guy that was like, hey, man, I'm giving the 2 week notice and I'm going to judge the fuck out of you if you don't. Right. And then one of my best buddies at work, he just left and left. And, you know, it changed my mindset a little bit because I watched the shit he went through. Right. And we talked about it a little bit. And he's like, yeah, man, these guys don't care about me. And I deserve better. And, you know, like, fuck them. And the way I viewed it a little bit, I was a little bit mad because, like, you know, I don't give the 2 week notice for the company. I give the 2 week notice for the brothers I grinded out with. You know,
Mm-hmm.
let the company have that 2 weeks to maybe replace me, you know, like so my brothers that I'm going to work with or go to war with every day, they're not left holding the bag or picking up the slack when I go, right? And that's the way I kind of viewed it. I still view it a little bit that way, but I've learned to like ease up on my view of it a bit, right? And also, when you give a 2 week notice, they're more than likely to like sit you anyways, and make sure you're at home or keep you not working anyway, right? Because
Right, right.
they don't want someone who's just quitting around the crew being like, yeah, I just quit, and then spread like that fucking shit around, and then everyone quits, right? So
Right,
I
right.
kind of see both sides a little bit, but Gen Z, man, like they're watching us struggle, and they're like, I ain't have none of that.
See, that's it's a really good point. It took me 20 plus years to find a company that I feel actually cares about me.
Yeah,
And now I'm the manager. That company's promoted me to a manager, and I do everything I can to express to the guys how much I care about them and how important they are. Um, it's it's interesting to come up in the field and have all these thoughts of how the office is and how the managers think and how they operate, and then when you get into that position, to take those values from the field into the office and keep your values, your blue collar values. It's worked out for me in 90% of the time. Um, I still get guys that say like, "Oh, you're a company man now," and all this other stuff. But man, that 2 weeks notice, I'll tell you, here in the valley, it's a small valley, and you burn a bridge here, and it's like karma, man. You reap what you sow. It's going to come right back around because it's such a small valley. Honestly, if it came down to it, I would give it 2 weeks notice just so I didn't burn a bridge. Even if I was pissed off, ready to walk out the freaking door, I would still give it 2 weeks notice just because I want to maintain that relationships. Because in the construction industry here in Phoenix, reputation, networking, relationships is everything.
same with the
That's
oil and
where
gas
that's
industry, man. Oil field,
yeah.
big industry, small community, you know,
Yep.
and reputation is everything, in Alberta, right? Like in Alberta, like I'm not saying you can't fuck up in Alberta and get a job in another province or another country, right? But in Alberta, like especially in Fort Mac or other little oil field towns, you want to stay working in that town, right? Like you fuck up somewhere, you have a reputation for something, and that's following you around, right? And that's if you piss someone off too, right? Like let's say you're a boss and you shit on someone that's below you on that next job, you better make amends, because on your way back down, right, you're running back into them then, and they on the next job, they could be your boss, right?
Yep.
And like, oh,
Yep.
watch the fuck out, because like
Yep.
it's it's interesting. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen,
See,
man.
I'm from the old school where you get into an argument with somebody, you box it out, and then you get back to normal.
Yeah.
And that's how I view like some of my crucial conversations that I have with the GCs and stuff like that. We might go at it on this one project, and you work for this company and I work for this company, but on this next project, you work for a different company, I work for a different company, and when we see each other, we're like, "Bro, what up?" It's been a
Yeah.
long time.
I
Yeah, it's
you
it's
know,
literally you box it out, you get it out of the way, and then you go
yep.
about your business.
The mindset now is that, and it's you're starting to see it a little bit in the older people, in the older guys too, and older gals too, right? Because like the younger folk like Gen Z and shit like that, you can't yell at them. You can't even really tell them what to do. You got to be like, hey, if you don't mind, would you, if you can you do this, please, right? And so um
The
you know
art of persuasion.
Yeah, so there's this guy I work with, and I was just joking around with him, right? And I'm like, "You can't do that. What the fuck?" And I said it a little aggressively, but I was joking. He called my boss literally crying, telling him like, "Hey man, I'm gonna hit this guy." Right? And I'm like, and then I made fun of him all day. and I have my phone up to my ear when I walk by. I'm like, yeah, man, that guy, he pissed me off again, and I'm calling you to tell him. I'm telling on him, and he's like, man, I will hit you, and I'm like, fucking be about it, then, man. You know what? Like, do something about it, because if you don't, you whine to the boss now. If you don't hit me, then I'm not gonna stop doing this, because you just proved to me you're a little bitch, right? And yeah, he didn't do shit. He unfollowed me on Facebook, is what he did, and I'm like,
Ouch.
oh man, that kind of a little bit, like, oh fuck that guy, like
Uh,
one less follower, right? And it's like, I don't want you following me anyways. Fuck right off,
hell
and
no. I'm
yeah,
from the old school, bro, and I know you got some in you too, but you I came up, motherfuckers were picking on me.
yeah,
They were trying to see where my limitations are, and we do that too. And the Gen Zs, they do it to each other. It's not a generational thing. I think it's a an industry thing. You
yeah.
got to
Like
be
Gen Z
fucking
does
tough.
it. When Gen Z does it, they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna steal your vape and hide it," you know. Like, yeah, like, hey, we're more serious about it. We're like, hey, you puff your chest out, like, oh, right, and like a Gen Z's just like, yeah, well, I got banana flavored. What do you right? And like, fuck them,
Dude, I'll
like,
tell you what. Nothing's more funny than a big burly dude, biker dude, and you walk by him and he smells like some cotton candy strawberries or something.
yeah,
With those
funny as
vapes.
fuck. Funny as fuck. Hey, I got a question for you, man. Do you know what
Sure.
viscosity is?
Viscosity,
You know what viscosity is?
like as in fluid and how thick and yeah.
Boom. That's it, man. And where I'm going with it is that the Mudman, the podcast is sponsored by the Mudman. And the Mudman deals in the thickness of fluid, right? On a drilling rig, the going down hole. And the Mudman, for all your drilling fluid and laboratory testing equipment needs, the Mudman's got your back. He's taken, the hard shit and made it more simple, right? The Mudman's good shit. If it wasn't for the Mudman, this podcast wouldn't be what it is, I don't think. He supplied the headset and the mic, which the mic is right here, but the cord that I need to plug it into is not. So yeah, so I don't know where that is right now. I'll find it later probably. And the headset, which is great. But more recently, and this will be like the fourth episode or whatever we've recorded with it, the brand new MacBook Pro, where
Oh
I'm
yeah.
recording on the MacBook Pro. I can edit on the MacBook Pro, and shout out to the Mudman for that. Like, what an incredible individual this guy's been. And just I wouldn't have guessed it if you would have told me when I started this podcast that I would be recording on a $2,000 computer and had a mic and headset here and the soundboard. I would have laughed in your face. I'd be like, there's no way, I'm not paying for that. How did I steal it? No. Like, there's no way. And the things coming down the pipeline and everything that's been happening, man, like, shout out to the Mudman. So
Shout out to the
www
Mud Man.
www.mudmanmarket.com for all your drilling
Oh yeah.
fluid and laboratory testing equipment needs. The Mudman deals in the thickness of your load. So how thick is your load, Bobby?
Right now it's probably thick.
Yeah. Are you single?
No, I got a girl. I've had her. We've been together for like 10 years.
Good for you. You guys live together?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Good for
Just
you.
just
So
just us and the dog. We don't want no kids. We don't want no marriage certificate recognized by the state and all that stuff. We're just
recognized
we're
by the
just
state.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're just simple people.
Yeah, man. As a man in my mid 30s, right? Like, men in their mid 30s have the thickest loads. I don't know if you know that. Like, no, for real. Like, something about where they're at in their life, right? And I don't know what it is, but they're producing more of it, and you just get massive loads. Like, trust me, man. I've done it for fucking science. I've done this, right? Like, and then I up that by I have a lot of zinc in my diet, and zinc gives you
Mm.
thick loads. So like right now, man, like, you gotta chew before you swallow this shit, right? Like, it is thick.
That's interesting you say that because I do take zinc every day. Zinc, magnesium, iron.
Yep.
Take the minerals, man.
Take the minerals, boy. You got to take them minerals. And as we get older, man, we want to make, like, everything has a shelf life, right? Everything.
Mhm.
Athletes have a shelf life. 40 is their Usually they're expired, right? They 40 years old, just like, hey, it's time to put the children's game away, right? Blue collar folk, we're rough on our bodies, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we want to maintain our level of compete or whatever, our performance level. We got to take care of ourselves, and the minerals are just a part of that. Eating right is a part of that. Not stopping at the gas station and getting a sandwich and a Red Bull every day is a part of that. I go and I do routine maintenance on my body. I go to the chiropractor once a month and I get a massage once a month, and it's like, you know what, man, like, fucking take care of this too. Go fucking. This podcast isn't sponsored by BetterHelp if that's where you think it's going. But if you take care of your mind, the body follows, right?
Right. Right.
And like, take care of everything, man, and get proper sleep, eat properly, and everything else will follow, man. And it's we aren't athletes. We're not making millions of dollars a year, right? So like when they retire at 40, they've made more money than they'll know what to do with. Where
Right.
us, chances are we're in it until 65. You see some of those 70-year-olds
Death.
on site. Death, yeah, death is there. It's an option too, right?
Yep.
So like, we're in it. If our hands go, if our mind goes and our bodies go, and like, there goes our money, right? Or
Right.
yeah,
No, no, it's to keep a healthy mind. It's all in the perspective.
yeah,
It's how you look at things, how you deal with situations. If you're a negative Nancy, good luck. You might
yep.
want to change that around, or you're probably dying early death. I don't know, but
Oh, we're all dying early, anyways. I mean, fucking, you don't even have to be negative. Right? You ain't gotta be negative. Like, it's in the air we breathe and the food we eat. Like,
dude, I've just decided. Everybody works towards retirement. Retirement. But like I said earlier, work and life, that's the same thing to me, and I'm probably going to work myself to death. I'll work until I can't work or until I drop dead.
You know what my mindset is with that? Okay, and I have to learn how to like step back sometimes and change it a little bit. I have a lot of mental health issues from my childhood trauma. My dad was a complete fucking douche canoe, and so his thing was, you're not a worker. You'll never be a worker. You don't work hard, right? So what do I do a lot of now to prove him wrong, right? Because like,
Mm,
I work and I make sure I'm working as hard as I can. If I come into a room, I find the hardest working motherfucker in the room, and I strive to be like that guy. I'm like,
you're
I'm
like
gonna
challenge.
work with you. I'm gonna work next to you, and then I'm gonna outwork you. And I don't care how long it takes. We're gonna be there, right? So and I know that's not good for me, and I know that's gonna be the death of me, right? And I've been changing it. I felt for the longest time that if I take a little break, 10-minute micro break, 5-minute micro break, go eat something, take a drink, just relax for a couple minutes, people were gonna look at me as being lazy and not a worker.
Right,
So
right,
like,
right.
I thought I had something to prove, and like, I would go to work and I would grind, and it'd be like one of those 20-hour shifts, and it'd be 12 hours into it, and I'm like, fuck, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, but I can't stop, right? And I'm like, this is only doing me more harm than good, right? And so like, I've had to like, okay, I gotta take a break. No one's gonna care. No one cares. No one's watching. I'm stopping. No one's watching, right? So, and that weighed on me a bit too, right? Like, hey, my dad, you're not a worker. So 100 hours a week, away we go. The
Wow.
physically demanding job, away we go, right? And what am I doing? I'm setting a bad example for my kids,
Mm.
right? But like, yeah, at least they have toys. At least they,
Don't think you're setting a bad example, man.
no,
Don't think you're
no,
setting a bad example.
not now, not now. Like, the last 2 years, I've really taken a step back and been like, hey, I'm taking more time off. I'm going home more. I'm relaxing a little bit more. And it's like, hey, if I'm hungry, I'm fucking eating. Right. And if I'm thirsty, I'm having a drink. And that's just, it's been an interesting evolution. It was all part of coming out of that mental fog and like shifting over to being like, hey man, like, fuck that guy. What my dad said doesn't matter. It does not matter. He's not fucking me, feeding me, or paying me. It don't fucking matter, right?
Right, right, right.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
my dad ran a commercial auto body shop, and he was gone, 8 to 10 hours a day. And growing up, I was a troublemaker, so I'd get in trouble during the day. And when my dad came home, he was like the enforcer. He was the guy whooping me, and I didn't my relationship with my dad really never developed until after I'd moved out of the house and started talking to him more. And to this day, I've never seen my dad without a shirt. I don't know if he's got like some big old naked lady on his chest. I have no idea if he's got a tattoo or anything. But my relationship with my dad actually blossomed after I moved out of the house, and I
After you
moved
became
out of the house.
a man, right?
Yeah, yeah. When I started to relate with him, but what it taught me, growing up and only seeing my dad, I know my dad was out at work. I knew he was working, but what that taught me was the value of a hard day's work. Because he took care of us. I wasn't hungry. I had clothes, I had shoes, I had a house over my head, and I didn't realize all that stuff until I got older and started making my own money. And so even though I didn't see him a lot growing up, um, I realized that he was out there working, and that's what I'm going to do.
Fuck yeah.
And yeah, so
So my dad and my how do I word this? My dad's relationship with me, like our relationship together, it blossomed when I was a kid, and I would live in the house, and I realized he was very controlling, right? And he would control every situation, right? So like I didn't have it the worst because I was a boy, right? And I had three sisters and multiple stepmoms throughout the years, but like women were nothing, right? Women are just an object to use, right? And
mm,
he made them do all the laundry and do all the chores, and it was like, hey, you don't got to do shit. And what that taught me was like, hey, man, like I don't want to do that shit, and that
mm,
became a big issue when I got with my wife, and she's like, no, we gotta clean up today, and you're helping, right? Like, fuck you. And you know it wasn't until I moved out and I became a man that I realized that you know our relationship strained when I moved out and I became a man, and I see, okay, yeah, my dad was a good provider, 100% great provider, right? Providing isn't enough, right? It should be in a sense. Providing just isn't enough. You got to be a good human being too, right? And like
right.
treated my mom like shit. He treated my sisters like shit. He treated my wife like shit. We've been together since high school, and she was just treated like trash, right? And every woman he's been with, he's just treated like shit. His friends, nothing to him. Nothing. He'll treat them like he'll stab you in the back. He'll stab you in the back as fast as he shakes your hand, right?
Mm.
And he don't care. He'll walk
Where's he
over.
at now?
He's been living in his sister's fucking house somewhere out east now.
Mm,
Uh, so when I was a kid, we were very poor. We were on welfare for a bit, and then my dad started his own business, and I watched my dad become a self-made millionaire in just a couple of years, and that taught me a lot. Don't get me wrong, that taught me a lot. But I also watched him blow everything, right? And when his body, it all came back down to taking care of this, and the rest will take care of itself. Well, he didn't take care of this. My dad is mentally ill, right? He didn't take care of this, so the rest of his body went to shit.
mm,
I watched when he was not fucking probably 40, some late 40s, early 50s. I watched his knees give out on him, his
mm,
back, everything was giving out on him. My dad don't work no more, and he's on welfare again, right? And he's blowing everything. He's got bipolar, so when he got paid, he was riding extreme highs, and then he'd blow it all, and he'd ride an extreme low, right?
mm,
And I watched that cycle in and out, right? And that was tough. That was tough to watch, right? And he was he went through some life-changing events even when I was an adult. Even as a man, I watched my dad go through some life-changing shit, and you know it destroyed him because he didn't know how to ask for help. He didn't know how to seek the help, right? So I watched it destroy him. Yeah.
Wow. I had no idea, man.
Yeah,
Sweet.
man. Yeah, I'm at the age I'm roughly at the age now where my dad started cracking, right? So I'm 35. Um, yeah, roughly around there. My dad started to crack, and there were signs. I didn't see them, right? But looking back all these years later, yeah, it's very obvious now, right?
I
Oh,
lost my headphones.
your AirPods died. All good.
How's the audio? Is it still good? Is it
I can
fucked
still
up?
hear you. You're still good.
Okay.
Yeah, after all these years looking back, I can see now, like, oh, the signs were right there. Everything he did and said was visible, right? And yeah, it's tough. It's a tough one to look and look at, right? And he said something to me a few years ago last time we talked, and he's like, "You work a lot of hours and you're gone a lot." He's like, "Looks like looks like my son isn't very much different from his father." And I'm like, "Oh, you motherfucker." Right? Like, you motherfucker, right? And I'm like, "No, the difference is that I'm there. I'm even when I'm not there, I'm there." Right? Like, granted, that wasn't exactly his fault. The technology didn't exist, right? Like, he couldn't FaceTime his family, and he couldn't phone call. He couldn't. There's no cell phones. He couldn't be like, hey, what's up, guys? Like, you didn't when he was gone for weeks at a time. You didn't know he was coming home till he walked through the door, right? And that had to be tough. That had to be tough. As a guy who can make those phone calls and FaceTime, it's still tough to even live that lifestyle. Never mind, like he didn't have that technology there. So, like, I view him. I shouldn't look and paint him as like this villain all the time, but like there is other shit there that he is partaking in that is nasty and bad, and yeah, I don't like sharing it, but like he wasn't all bad, right? So
Yeah. Well, that just circles back to the strain that the family has, that has the blue collar support in the family and their, I say it again, family. But yeah, it's a big strain
yeah,
for, the wives and the kids but so
I
God bless them. God
I say
bless them.
it all the time. I say it all the time. You know, Women are the backbone of this lifestyle. The women at
Mhm.
home are the backbone of this lifestyle. If you don't have a good support system at home and your wife isn't supporting you and whatnot, like it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be really hard. Right. And my wife,
And
man, like
me and we see it. We see it all the time. We
we
see our
see it.
guys come into work just,
Yep.
wanting to tell us the story of how they got into a fight or the divorce or
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, and my wife, man, like when I'm on the road in the summertime, she when school finishes, so at the end of June, she's here a lot. She drives hours. Like she drove 10 hours last month to spend, the weekend with me. Bringing the kids, they spend the weekend with me. She's how far away? She's 5.5 hours away right now. She was like, "Do you want me to come up this weekend?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I would love for you to come up this weekend, but I'm going to be home in 2 days. Don't drive the 5 hours just to spend a day, just to have to drive home." And we're working an hour and a half away from site, so I'm driving 3 hours a day, and you're only going to see me for an hour at the end of the day, right? Like it's 5 hours to see me for one is crazy, and I'm not blaming you for not coming, right? And she's like, okay. And the next job, I'm only an hour and a bit away from home. That's when she'll come. She'll come and she'll stay with me till the end, right? Um, so there's that. And in the wintertime, I've had to, she can't come and see me. And so it's like, you know what? Like I'm coming home more, right? Like every chance I get. Last year, I took an airport run. I had to go pick some coworkers up at the airport, and that's not usually what I want to do. But I'm like, hey, you know what? Like, I got to go right by home to get to the airport. So like, I went home the night before. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna spend the night at home. Tomorrow, I'm gonna pick them up at the airport, and then I'm gonna come back. So at least I get a night at home, right? And that's an extra night I didn't have before.
Right, right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm working on that. So yeah.
So you mentioned winter. You know what my experience is with Canadians in the winter?
Oh shit! What?
Snowbirds.
Snowbirds. Yeah. Yeah. I want to be that one day.
Hit me up, bro. Hit me up when you get down here.
I will, man. Fuck, dude. right now my winters are I'm grinding it out outside -40, -50. My fingers are fucking shit. My toes, you can't feel your toes. You know it's warm out when it warms up to -40 and you can start to feel your toes again. Right. And you're
Wow.
just like, oh, I can feel my toes. What's the temperature? Oh, it's -40. Nice. And then, you start sweating at -30. It's cold when, right? And, you know, man, I'm looking forward to one day, being a snowbird, and then looking back at this time in my life and being like, hey, man, I made it in the harshest conditions known to man, and like I survived and I thrived and I did that shit for years. Right now it's 10 years, right? Who knows where I'll be in 20, right? So like, I survived that shit for a large chunk of my life, and they
Crazy.
can't take that away from me.
Well, when you come down here, just don't be gumming up the traffic, all right?
Oh man. So what happened when I went to Los Angeles a couple of years ago. We went to LA, and my
They
goal.
almost ran you off the road.
No, man, my goal was to. I'm from Toronto originally, so like, hey, and I live in Alberta, and they didn't get more asshole like than that, right? So, my goal was to get caught. It was on my bucket list actually to get caught in LA traffic, and I did it. It took me like 3 hours to get 45 minutes away. I was like, nice.
No.
This is what I was looking forward to. Nice. Yeah, man.
What were you driving? Did you have Canadian plates or?
It was a rental car. It was a Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah, they if you drive around here with Saskatchewan plates or wherever you come from, and from up north, man, you are a target. You are a target.
I bet.
Like that, you could be going the speed limit or even faster than the speed limit. But if you got a plate and you're a snowbird or something, even I keep picking on Canada, but even Wisconsin and the Illinois plates and the Indiana plates and the Minnesota plates, you got a plate from out of town, especially California, you are a target to us Arizonans.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to go. I'm gonna bring my car down there with Alberta plates on it, and I'm gonna be like, what's up now? Let's do this. I
Dude,
will.
I'll take you out into the desert and we can.
Yeah, bro. So I have only shot guns a couple times in my life, right? My dad had a 12 gauge or whatever when I was a kid, and I don't even know what it was. And he was out hunting and he let me shoot it once. And I'm like, fuck yeah. And then a couple years ago, there's the world's second biggest mall in the town where I live called West Edmonton Mall. And they got a shooting range. I went there. My brother-in-law and I went and we got the Cupid package. It was $180 each, and we got to shoot like fucking 6 guns.
Nice.
Each, yeah. And there's some revolvers in there and like rifles and shit. And I love that. And then I went to my buddy's farm and we made some TikToks. And we were shooting at tannerite. We're shooting at tannerite, and he shoots boom, and there's like one more out there, and I'm like, all right. Now, when you look at the video, because he took a video of it, the butt end of the gun was underneath my armpit and not on my shoulder. And I'm lucky I took my glasses off. So I took my glasses off and I fucking shot. I heard the stars. Fucking my nose was broken for sure. And yeah, a couple hours went by and he's like, "You want to shoot again?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm good now. I just needed some time to like, get that out of my." I fucking put the gun up here, one shot, boom. I'm like, that was fucking worth it, right?
Yeah.
And then my buddy, my coworker here, actually, I went to his house last weekend for a barbecue. The guy's got like 40 guns, and he buys them at estate sales online.
Yep.
And he's got everything, man, right? All kinds of. He's got this Cooey. I don't even know what a Cooey is, but when he shot it, the kick on that is crazy. He's like, man, you feel it in the shoulder for sure. And he shot it. He's got a YouTube channel actually, J.A. Hunter Plus. He's Jamaican.
Hunter Plus.
He's Jamaican, so J.A. Hunter Plus. And man, I didn't know Jamaicans like to hunt. Fuck, of course they like guns, but I didn't know they like to hunt, right? And fucking the guy, man, like he's proud of his gun collection, man. He's got some nice guns in there, right? He just bought a 10 gauge.
Whoa, nice.
Yeah, man.
So,
yeah.
Gun collectors, guns are like a lot like tattoos, man. You get a tattoo and like you're addicted. You can't wait till you get your next one, your next one, your next one. It's the same thing with guns. You get one, it's not enough. You need another one, and you need another one. So
I'm
I got 6, and I got a variety. So I got the over under for doves and clay shooting and stuff, 12 gauge. I got a couple lever actions. I got a antique 1895 30-30. I got a Marlin 30-30, and that is the lever action cowboy gun, man. Those things are fun to shoot.
Fuck yeah.
I got the AR-15 assault rifle.
Oh, true American fashion.
Yeah.
You can walk down the street with that thing, can't you?
Technically, yeah. Especially in
Arizona,
Arizona, you can wear your guns out in the open.
Fuck, dude. Canada, we're not even allowed to look at guns, man.
Hey, but I'll tell you what, my favorite, and it's probably because it's simple, is a revolver, 357.
So
it is so simple, man. You could throw that thing in the mud, you could kick it through the dirt, and you're gonna pick it up and you're gonna pull the trigger and it's gonna shoot. That's what I love about the revolver.
I want to see if I found this, if I saved this picture. I want to see, because man, it was so cool. Like how I okay, all photos here. Let's see if I saved it the other day, because man, it was really cool. My daughter was like, yeah, I did. Oh shit. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Take a look at those, man. Like that's a profile picture right there. Like my daughter's
Yeah, that thing's got a decent barrel on it. That's like a
yeah. He's like, Daddy,
barrel.
he hurt me. My daughter's like, like coming to me like, Daddy, he hurt me. He did what? Right? And like, yeah, man. Like it's dude, when I held them, I felt like I was invincible, right? And like there's no bullets in them or anything like that. But like, still like a pistol whip the shit out of you, like
yeah. Yeah. No, there's nothing more Arizona about a revolver hanging off your hip. Man. And then plus the wildlife out here. I mean, if you need a big caliber, if you got a bear or mountain lion on top of you, you need a decent caliber. You want to be able to take them out with one shot. So.
Oh man, I live in Alberta, man. The mountains, the Rocky Mountains are right here, right? Like bears.
You got way bigger animals up there.
Oh yeah, man. And hey, some of them other cougars, like the 40-plus-year-olds, some of them are hard to tame too,
You use the butt of the gun for them.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They might like the fucking stock end or the like the barrel. You never know. Like put it in their mouth and just move it in and out. It's like, how you like that, huh? Yeah. It's not loaded. Don't worry. Like.
Now we're gonna have the ATF watching the videos.
Fuck it. Put all the initials on CIA, ATF, FBI, fucking CSIS. I don't know, like
TSA.
Excuse me, sir. Can I put my fingers up your butt and cough?
Oh, hey, I figured out a way how to get bigger than the small vials of water or whatever you want to get on there, or perfume or whatever. You freeze it.
Oh.
I had a TSA guy tell me if I wanted to take a bottle of vodka onto the plane, if I could freeze that bottle of vodka, they'd let it through.
So you can bring ice.
It's frozen.
You can bring ice, but you can't bring the liquid.
Yep.
But
I don't know how you freeze alcohol.
But
it's got to be some like cheap alcohol. Maybe dilute it with some water or something. Some Tito's.
But when
or
it
something.
thaws out on a plane ride after a 4-hour plane ride and it's liquid again, then what?
Hey, the TSA ain't on the plane.
They don't care once you're there, like,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
Keep that shit away from my little scanner and we're good. Once you're in the air, fuck, I don't care what you do, like.
Yeah. But a TSA guy told me if I wanted to get a bottle of alcohol, a full fifth bottle of alcohol, I gotta freeze it.
Interesting.
But you can't freeze alcohol, so it's got to be some cheap alcohol. Maybe you could freeze wine. You could definitely freeze some wine. That'll freeze.
Do you hear that? There.
Oh.
So I recently
You're making me thirsty, bro.
I recently discovered Twisted Teas, right? And then I discovered Mike's Hard Blue Freeze, right? And oh my god, dude, these things go down so easy. Like they taste so good. It's dangerous. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
I can enjoy a beer. I'll drink beer socially.
Yeah.
But I'm a Scotch and whiskey guy.
So I don't like beer. I don't drink beer at all. I don't really drink, period. I've been, I've drank more of these in the last month than anything. And it's like kind of
Well, you definitely don't fit the Canadian stereotype then.
starting to concern me that maybe I'm a little bit of an elky now, right? But like, I'm a whiskey guy. So when I do drink and hang out, I'm a whiskey guy, and I'm all about that Crown Royal. And Crown Peach, that's where that shit's at.
No, I like a good smoky Scotch, man. It's almost like you're smoking a cigarette, but you're drinking Scotch. I love that smoky, peaty Scotch. That's my go-to. If I go to a bar, it's gonna be, most bars, the best they have is like maybe some Johnny Walker, but occasionally you go into a bar and they got like some Lefroy in there or something like that, and it's just real woody, man. I love that woody Scotch.
Like taste the wood in your mouth, eh?
Dude, I gave that one to you. I completely just handed it to you.
Sure did. You gave me your wood.
That's funny. Careful, man. I'm a manager. I can't say gay.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. You got to take sensitivity training if you're not saying that now, right? Like, whoa, easy there.
Oh, that's great. Good stuff.
Where can people find you on the socials, man? So this is all about, like networking and exposing and bringing on the blue collar folk and shit like that. And like, if people aren't following you and they're hearing this and they're like, hey man, I want more of Bobby. I want more of Bobby's wood in my mouth, right? Like, where do I find Bobby, right? So where do the people find you?
Right now I'm currently on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Blue Collar Code on all three. I mean, it's different. Like TikTok, it's blue.collar.code. Instagram, it's like blue_collar_code. But you punch in Blue Collar Code, and I'm gonna pop up, and you're gonna recognize me.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna rub Blue Collar Code, and you'll pop right up.
But I think my name's on there too, Bobby Armstrong. You can look up Bobby Armstrong, and you'll recognize my profile.
I know if you type Bobby Armstrong in on Instagram, Blue Collar Code pops up. Well, what is the meaning behind Blue Collar Code? Like, it's just like what?
Oh, good question. So, I was looking for a name. I wanted to put Blue Collar in there. Blue Collar Bobby was already taken by the.
I know Blue Collar Bobby.
Yeah. He already took the name.
I know Blue Collar. Do you know who Blue Collar Bobby is, right?
Yeah.
Sprinkler fitter out of Boston. Yeah.
No, his freaking accent is, love it.
Yeah, and his mustache is good too. And I had him on the podcast, man. He was on the podcast a few months ago.
Oh man, I have to check it out. I didn't see it.
He has his own podcast, the fucking
Tape and Dope
show with his buddy Brian. Yeah. They were both on the podcast, man. I love Blue Collar Bobby's good shit.
Yeah. So he took my name anyway. So I was like, I'm in the construction field. I deal a lot with like international plumbing code and the NEC, all these different code books. So my thought process was I was going to do a series of videos where I'm giving you, section 1, chapter 2, this code. And I did one video. It did pretty good. But that was my thought process behind naming it Blue Collar Code. Because I want to be able to give people tips and kind of like reading a code book. This is what you do in this situation.
That's one way to take it. I thought, you were living by a code, like you were living by the Blue Collar Code, like the code.
Oh, I do have a code.
Oh, what's your code?
Accomplish the mission. Take care of your people. Never give up. Never quit.
Shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes though, hold on, man. Sometimes the never quit thing, like sometimes I think there might be a difference between quitting and knowing when to walk away and not.
Oh, 100%.
Right. Like a lot of people don't understand that. Like, when you quit a job, sometimes it's not quitting the job, right? It's sometimes you gotta walk away, right? And it took me a long time to realize that too, like, oh, I don't want to quit this job because I don't want to look like a quitter. I don't want to be a quitter, right? Well, there's a difference between quitting and walking away.
Yeah. Well, my thought process behind that was, if whatever it is, the task, the job, whatever it is, if it gets hard, don't quit because it's hard. Fucking grind it out.
Yep.
Because there's fruit in the labor. You get through the labor and you get the fruit. You gotta work hard for the things you want in this life, and there's no handouts, especially in the blue collar world. No handouts.
No handouts, bud.
Yeah.
I heard something recently, and I've been implementing it into my life, right? Sometimes you got to take L's, right? Sometimes you got to willingly take an L or sacrifice it, take the L sacrificially, so you can take a W when it matters more. Right. And we all like to win, right? But losing's hard. And sometimes you got to lose once in a while. Intentionally, you got to throw down your sword so you can win. You got to lose the battle so you can win the war, right?
Right. Hey, I'm going to throw out perspective out there one more time.
Yeah, absolutely, buddy.
So you can lose, right? It's okay to lose. What lessons did you learn? You still gain something out of that loss.
Yep.
So it's not always a loss.
As long as you learn and you don't put your tail between your legs and go back and learn and take nothing from it, it's
or
fine.
Quit. Just give up.
Yeah, right.
That's what the blue collar code is. Don't never give up, never quit.
Hell yeah. I heard I think it was on Gord Kitely's podcast. Have you heard the Second Act podcast? Dude's got an amazing podcast. I heard a quote on his one time that's like, you can find something about meaningful discomfort. Meaningful discomfort is the birthplace of growth.
Yes.
Right? If you throw yourself into uncomfortable positions, right? As long as there's meaning behind it, fucking you can never lose, right? And that's man, I love listening to other podcasts and talking to other people like yourself and like anyone that comes on, right? Because everyone's got a different perspective or a different outlook and different advice. And man, some of it has really helped me grow as a person too, right? So it's this has been a fun ride.
Nice. No, I just recently discovered podcasts. Like a year ago, I probably couldn't even tell you what a podcast is. So podcasts are fairly new to me, and I like how, if I'm listening to the podcast while I'm driving, and I have like an hour commute every day to and from work, I like how podcasts keep you engaged, keep your mind working. Whereas if you're listening to music, and I am a huge music guy, I post a jukebox every day on my story.
Yeah.
But music, and I used to be a drug addict too. So I compare listening to music to doing drugs. It's an escape. It's an escape from reality. You're listening to that music. You're jamming out. You're in that tune. Whereas a podcast keeps your brain going, and you learn. Like you said, you learn from other people. You learn from the conversations, and that's what I like about podcasts. So I'm fairly new to the podcast thing because there's sometimes I listen to talk radio or like the news station radio, and it's such a fucking drag, dude. Like listening to all the drama that's going on. So I like how the podcast you can, listen to whatever you want. I mean, whatever topic you want. I guess I could take those off. Work day's over.
So I operate equipment all day. So when I'm in my equipment, I had the podcast going, right? Like tomorrow, I'll listen back to this one, right? And I'll, all right, I'll pick stuff out, and I love doing that. I like listening back, and so we're already an hour and a half in, right? So from record time to release time when it comes out, I probably dumped like fucking 5 hours into the thing, right? Record it, listen to it, just listen to it.
Dang, dude, you're gonna get me and you gonna get intimate, huh? Oh, you're gonna know my voice.
I'm gonna be in you, fuck yeah. I'm gonna listen back to it to hear, okay, that was really good. what can I change on the next episode, right? And then I'll listen back to it again to like, okay, here's some clips to pull out for, a teaser trailer when it comes out. And then when it comes out, I'll listen back to it again to enjoy it, right? And the teaser clips, that adds more time, right? So we're from record on down, probably got like 10 hours into every episode, roughly, right? And and man, that's more time, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, like what a lot of guys do after work in their spare time. I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, and I don't drink. I'm drinking this right now. It's good, right? But like,
you're right. That technically isn't a drink.
Yeah, it's a girly drink, 5%, and 5% I'm gonna feel, but still. And fuck, man, everyone's like, where do you find the time? I got lots of time, and so do you. You just got a time management. It's very, like, hey, I'm not doing anything extra with my time anyway.
If
so
it's important, you'll fit it in.
Yeah, absolutely. If you really want it, you'll do it, right? And man, it's been incredible. This has been an incredible ride, man. And everyone that comes on, I get excited to record. Then I get all giddy the day that it comes out. I'm like, 8 o'clock in the morning. It comes out at 4:30, 5 o'clock, whatever. So when it drops, I'm nervous all day. I'm like, yeah, podcast is coming out today. Yeah. And then it drops, and I'm like, oh, here we go, right? And then get feedback from it, and my friends that listen to it will give me feedback, and then whoever else. And I love that shit, man. Like, I love it. It provides. So it filled a void in me that I didn't know I had.
That network, bro. Connecting with people.
Yeah.
You're a people person.
I am. And
hey, so we're not live right now. This is a recording?
This is recording, yeah.
All right, you gotta give me a second. I gotta pee.
No,
that old man bladder.
You use that old man bladder. You empty that coin purse of yours. Let's see if we can hear it. Can we hear it? Hold on. I can hear it. If you listen closely, you can hear it. I'm not editing this out. Will he wash his hands? That is the question. Will he wash his hands? Is he going to come back licking his fingers like he just had like chicken wings? Who knows? I would. I'd come back. I wouldn't wash my hands, but I'm also sick and twisted. Oh, here he's back. He's back. Hey,
speaking of peeing,
that was a weak.
What's that?
We heard the flow. That was a weak flow.
Oh, come on now. I got a good prostate, bro. I'm still flowing. I'm still flowing good.
You milk the fuck out of that, don't you?
No, speaking of peeing, I'll give you an HVAC tip.
Okay.
We wash our hands before we pee.
Okay. You've got me. I'm biting. What do we got?
So we deal with a lot of chemicals, number one. I know you deal with a lot of chemicals, but we deal with a lot of chemicals, fiberglass.
Ooh, you don't want that on your dick.
Yeah, you don't need that downstairs.
No.
All kinds of shit.
Off the fiberglass is just wearing away at the skin. Like, this hurts so much, but it feels so good. What is wrong with me?
It itches down there already. You don't need to compound it, and add
yeah.
So there's a code for you. Code 1, section 11. Wash your hands before you pee. All right.
Well, I work on a vac truck, and we get lots of chemicals on our hands, and there's shit on the rig called invert, and it burns your skin sometimes if you get used to it. I'm used to it now. It doesn't burn my skin anymore. Buddy comes out one day, like, this guy's a green hand. He comes out and he's like, man, my dick stings. I just got invert on my dick and it stings. It's like putting Bengay on your dick, like A535. You ever tried to masturbate with A535? Dude, you should try it sometime. Incredible.
I raw dog it, bro. I raw dog it.
Hey, good for you. You're getting carpet burn, but whatever. No, I raw dog it too. I got calluses all over my hands. It acts like spider grip, right? Like, just even if I wanted to let go, I can't now. You know, mom's sitting there like, stop doing that. It's like, I can't help it. It's stuck on there now, you know,
It
like
burns.
it burns so much, but it feels good at the same time. You know, yeah, it's like somebody gorilla glued my hand to my dick, and I just, you know, like,
Quit going like this. You know it's like this.
yeah, like, it's more like that. You're right.
Man,
Oh,
that's great.
shit.
That's great.
Buddy, I don't want to keep you too much longer. My wife's gonna call me soon anyway too. I like to wrap the podcast up by asking one last question, and it's I don't know if you've listened to any of the episodes yet or not of mine, but Mount Rushmore has 4 of the most influential people up on the rock uh, of all time, right? So if you could have your own Mount Rushmore, 4 people that you look up to, inspire to be, or that inspired you, who would they be and why?
Ooh, my dad, because he laid the foundation for the man I am today.
Hell yeah.
Uh, Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe, because he's spearheaded the effort of exposing blue collar, you know, the
You say
the
blue
hard
cock?
work. I'm zinning, bro. I'm zinning.
Oh,
I almost choked
oh.
on that motherfucker.
No, you
Um,
sound like you choked on the blue cock. Yeah.
yeah, Mike Rowe, because he's an inspiration for what, basically what me and you are doing right now.
Absolutely.
Man, that's a good one. I would have to, I don't want people take this the wrong way, but the president of our company, Brad, he is just he's one of us, bro. He is one of us. Even though he's the president of the company, he is one of us. He's rough around the edges. He'll let you know when you're fucking up. And he's from Boston too, so he's got that real thick Boston accent.
Fast.
Yeah.
He's a big Tom Brady fan.
Boy, no, man, you put me on the spot. I don't know about the 4th one. Myself. No, I'm joking.
Dude, you gotta love yourself before you can love anybody else, brother.
Nah, I probably put my girl up there, man, because she is any human being that can put up with me is, they got grit. They have grit, because I am not an easy motherfucker to deal with. I'm all fun and games on social media and stuff like that, but you spend a good solid, week or month with me, and it ain't fun anymore.
Shit, my wife's been spending 20 years with me, man. I'm hard on my own head. Can you imagine? Ooh, that's gotta be tough. We've been married
No,
for
no,
12
dude,
years coming up here.
wow.
Yeah.
Hey, were you with her prior to that? How long were you with her prior to that?
Before we got married, 8 years just about. We've been together since grade 11. So
Whoa.
just
You're
about
like
20 years, man.
high school sweethearts almost, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
fucking great.
Yep. It's funny that you say Mike Rowe, man. Like Mike Rowe is like a target guest of mine,
Oh,
episode
really?
100. We're fast approaching episode 100. We're probably like 14 episodes away now here. And
No, I heard Murphy calling him out.
yeah. Yeah, Murph's the shit. I love Murphy. Yeah, we're like 13, 14 episodes away from episode 100, and episode 100, my target guest is Mike Rowe. I've been trying to get Mike's attention for a while now, man. Like you said, he is everything that we stand for. He is what we are. And Mike is he's got his own podcast, he's got his own whiskey, he's got his own TV show. Mike is busy. He's a busy dude. I know his dad wasn't doing too well recently. I'm gonna continue tagging him everywhere and messaging him as much as I can. We've got 14 weeks to go before we're at 100, and if I might have to move on without him, but I hope I can get him.
Dude, Mike Rowe, Micro. Dirty
Well,
Jobs, dude. The Dirty Jobs, dude. I love that show.
I
Love
fucking
that
love
show.
that show, man. Micro is the man. A solid stand-up individual. I don't even follow him everywhere. Follow him on Facebook and Instagram, and the guy just like such a humble, down-to-earth person, you know? Like,
Yeah.
fuck, dude. Micro, I want him so badly. In
Yeah,
and around.
dude, I would love just 10 minutes with that dude and a
Oh,
shot of whiskey and a cigar. Just a cigar. As long as it takes to smoke the cigar, just give me that time with him.
yeah. Do you know how Mike's story of how Dirty Job started?
I've heard it, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fascinating story actually. Like, he had something to prove to his grandfather. And his grandfather wanted to see him actually do a dirty job instead of
Yep.
talk about dirty jobs. And so he got dirty. He went down there and got dirty. And shortly after he did that, his grandfather, I think, saw one episode and then he died. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, man. Micro is an inspiration for sure.
Yeah. No, and he's not only what he's doing for the industry and for blue collars. That guy is a hell of a presenter. Like, dude, he could stand up in front of an audience and just talk and captivate the audience. And he's got a gift. He has
He
got
does.
a gift. He's
He
got a
does.
glow, an aura. I don't know what it is, but
And that voice. Have you heard
yeah.
that? Oh my God, dude. Like, I think about that voice when I go to bed sometimes. Like, yeah, it's how I'm going faster now. Like, amazing how I figured it out, right? Like, yeah, dude. Buddy, I don't want to keep you too much longer, man. Those are some good answers, man. Some good people to look up to, dude. So
yeah, thanks, man. Thanks.
Thanks for being a part of this ride, man. And I fucking will have you back, dude. There's only been 2 guests that we've had so far that have been reoccurring over the last almost 2 years. We're almost 2 years into this now, and we've had 2 reoccurring guests, and they've been recent. So,
dude, I'll come back anytime, man. And if you want to talk about some serious stuff, I mentioned the soft skills. I'm kind of a soft skill guru.
You're soft, yeah.
I got the drug addict thing, and I'm not ashamed of it. If anything, it made me who I am, and I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll
hit on that. We'll hit on that for sure, man. Like, man, that's a huge part of the blue collar world, right? Like, it's our lifestyle, right? Our lifestyle is mentally tough, and I understand it. I don't like it, but I understand it. Like, we go through some harsh shit. We do some hardcore shit, and we're missing everyone we love, and we're going through it. And there's a lot of mental health there with everybody, with white collars too. But like, you throw a guy who's already had pre-existing mental health issues into that kind of environment and give him a bunch of money, and he's going to cope, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I understand it. I don't like it, but I understand, and we all deal in our own way. Right. And, we're coming together as an industry to kind of mitigate that a little bit, right? There's more and more help out there every day. Right. And, if you need help or you ever need to talk, your mental health is shot to shit, Bobby, man, I'm a DM away, like,
Appreciate
I'm there,
that.
man. You slide into my DMs at 2 a.m., man. I'll think you're trying to get my wiener, but like, I'll definitely
no, dude, I no, that's great. I really appreciate that. But yeah, that a lot of people say they're a recovering drug addict, and they'll be a recovering drug addict. Yeah, that was a phase. It was a 7-10 year phase, or 7 or 10 years. It's so long ago.
You don't remember.
But yeah, but I'll never go back, dude. To me, quitting drugs is like coming back from the dead. Life is better. Flowers are prettier. They smell sweeter. Even when I'm stuck in traffic, I'm having a good time.
Maybe you're on drugs now.
I was on a Zen, and I almost swallowed that bitch.
Whoa. Who's Ken? You say you almost swallowed Ken? What?
Where's your mind, bro? Where's your mind?
My mind's always on the dick, bro. You know, like Dick. My name's Dick.
Hey,
Come on now.
but I would definitely love to come back and you know, talking to you is just as easy as talking to a buddy at work. You know,
Fuck yeah, man.
we're just like two old friends catching up.
Fuck yeah, man. I appreciate that, man. And you know, dude, we'll do it again, man, because like you said, there's more to the story, right? We'll talk right now, you know, we learned blue collar code, you know, we had a good time. The next time we do it, man, we dive into the more serious shit. You know, we talk about,
Sure.
you know, the hard and the soft, right? We talk about the hard and the soft. And we talk about, you know, the drug thing. And, you know, like, hey man, we're this is just the beginning for us. So
Awesome. Awesome.
oh yeah, brother.
Dude, good luck with Mike Rowe. And if you fucking get a hold of him, you better be calling me.
Oh,
I
dude.
know I'm going to be the last thing that's on your mind when you're talking to Mike Rowe or when you get his attention. But, dude, you got to hype that up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, when I get Mike Rowe, I want to take episode 100 live anyways. I want to do a live streaming of episode 100. And if I get Mike Rowe, it'll definitely be live streamed. But yeah, dude, I don't know how it's going to go. I can only hope it goes well. I can only do so much to get his attention. It's out of my hands, right? Like if I don't get him, am I disappointed? I'm not disappointed.
You know what you should do? You should reach out to his mom.
Holy shit.
Because he listens to his mom.
Fucking right. I should reach out to Mike Rowe's mom. Mike Rowe will listen to his mom. Mike Rowe, if you don't answer me back, Mike Rowe, I'm reaching out to Mrs. Rowe and your mom. I'm reaching out to your mom. Now, your mom will put you to bed without any supper. And that's that, right?
And
like,
ground your ass.
And ground your ass. No fucking cookies for you. Okay? Like you're going to bed without dinner tonight, Mike Rowe.
That's hilarious. You better tag him when you release this video, man.
Oh, I tag him every chance I get.
That's great.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for coming on, brother. This has been a lot of fun, man. I appreciate it. And we're gonna have you back for sure.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Bro. All right, man. What do we got to do? We got to freaking
Bobby.
You got this. What app are you using for this?
StreamYard.
Do I gotta leave the phone on or something or?
No, man, it's all good. We're not done yet. We gotta do the outro. We gotta do the outro, man.
The outro.
Hey, you better get soft real quick. Right now, you're too hard. You're coming in my face, and I don't like it. Shit. All right, hey Bobby, you stay frosty, brother.
You too, man.